Hi everyone, it's David Wheeler at Wycombe Wanderers and you're listening to the Wycombe Wanderers Show.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Wycombe Wanderers Show. Big thanks to Luke for looking after last week's show.
You're very welcome, Colin.
And sorry. It's very brief, thanks. Appearance from Luke again. He's still here. He hasn't been here all the time. You happy?
I was going to say it was £12.50 for last week, thank you.
Oh, okay. Like the ULEZ.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
The same price. It's not bad, actually. £12.50.
Yeah.
For an hour.
Sorry, no, a minute.
Oh.
Sorry.
Can I pay in instalments?
Okay, fine.
Coming up this week, in a few moments' time, you'll hear from Phil with our pre-match... what's it called?
Not drills.
No, briefing. That's it. I always forget that. I don't know why. I just keep wanting to call it briefing, but it just sounds strange. We'll look ahead to the visit of Carlisle United, which has been designated... I couldn't even think of the word designated. Family Day. Crikey. We're off to a flying start. I'm sure you'll agree. We'll also hear a bit of a recap of what happened on Ringing the Blues when Luke Leahy came to the studio. I looked across for the sound effect and just Luke did it. Also, we'll catch up with Peter James, who was at a gathering yesterday in Bisham of a number of ex-players. We'll get his thoughts and memories from his time at the club. He played just over 50 times, scored just under 40 goals, and we'll get his memories, including the word ditty is used in our chat, which I think is a first for this show. I don't think ditty has been used. And we'll chat to Phil in a few moments' time, and abreast is used as well.
Wow.
I know, some good words.
Educational show tonight.
Absolutely. Also, we'll hear from Charlotte Hill, who is the Wycombe Wanderers women's player who joins an elite group who scored from a corner. We'll catch up with Max Stryjek, who gives us, among other things, his views on the different coloured goalkeeper shirts for this season. And Matt Bloomfield, of course, the Wycombe Wanderers manager, will give us his thoughts after we spoke to him, as opposed to before, at yesterday's press session at the training ground. So lots to catch up on and get the thoughts of, including Phil, as I say, with our, what's it called?
Pretty much briefing.
That's it. Including his thoughts, of course, on the latest performance at Charlton last Saturday.
Yeah, I think we played better, certainly in the second half at Charlton, than we perhaps did away at Northampton, and obviously where we won that game, but then we lost against Charlton Athletic. But you know, you have to take the positives from defeat as well as the learnings as well. I think defensively, the goals we conceded were largely poor, the first two. The third one is almost forgivable because you're chasing the game in injury time, and I thought Corey Blackett-Taylor is probably one of the best left-sided players in the division and had a really good first half as well, and popped up with a goal on his birthday. Yeah, it certainly wasn't a 3-1 defeat on the balance of play. Obviously, the annals of time will always reflect it as a 3-1. But yeah, I think huge positives to take from the performance. And on another day, without the defensive lapses, then that would have been a comfortable 3 points, I think. Equally, you know, we didn't take the chances when we were dominant. So yeah, again, something to look at there as well. And just a lack of sharpness in both boxes, really. But the bits in the middle, vastly encouraging. So if we can knit that together, then we should be all right.
Obviously, the 5-game unbeaten run's come to an end, but it does feel the team is getting into a bit of a groove.
Yeah, and again, you know, with the way that we played that second half at Charlton, you know, some of the best attacking stuff we've played under Matt Bloomfield, I think. Delighted for Freddie Potts to get his goal because I think his performances have warranted it. Always had the feeling that when he did score, it would be something special, and it was sort of a Paul Scholes-esque volley, wasn't it, from a second phase from a corner. But I think he's really sort of he's been growing week on week, and you know, we've been saying it on the commentaries every week. It's a joy to watch him develop. We have to remember as well, you know, Premier League 2, early rounds of the Europa Conference League aren't, you know, very similar to League One in many ways. And I'm really enjoying watching him and Josh going together in the middle of the park. Watching his evolution, and I think he's going to have a fantastic season for us, and he's really laid the foundations for that, and he's a big part in how we move the ball forwards now.
And really interesting, on Tuesday's Ring in the Blues, you were discussing with Luke Leahy about the sort of laws of the game. There seem to be some inconsistencies in the interpretation, if that's the best way to put it. But it must be tricky as players, but also for yourself. You know, you're commentating and watching games where, you know, perhaps what you think might be given as a decision perhaps isn't necessarily the case.
Look, I think referees have got a tougher job as it is, without the likes of me sort of pulling them apart on their decisions. So what we try and do is just report on what's happening. I think, you know, the least that we can do as commentators as well is be abreast of the new laws every year, which I do every year. Have done so with the Wycombe Referees Association, who very kindly down the years have let me come along to their new laws presentation to make sure I'm fully aware of it, because what we watch on a Saturday or Match Today live at Adams Park or wherever Wycombe Wanderers are, there's referees that go right the way down to the right, and these guys are just sort of doing their job for the love of the game, and without them we wouldn't be able to do it. I think it's a really tough job, and the new laws that have come in presumably are there to improve the game. Sometimes it's not the easiest thing for the referees to do. I'm just grateful we don't have VAR in League One because I think that could be quite tricky. There was the offside decision that led to Charlton's second goal on the Saturday, and on the replay, it looked to be that Dale Taylor was onside. He wasn't even the player going after the ball. It was Gareth McCleary. You could see where the complaints came from that. But, look, I don't think the assistant referee or the referee sets out in the morning to make a mistake. They probably make, between 2,000 and 2,500 decisions per game. They're not going to get them all right. And if we roll the clock back to the home game against Blackpool, the Jordan Rhodes header on replay looks like he was onside. So I'm a big believer in these things even themselves out over the season. Perhaps there was some justice distributed just a week after that Blackpool game for Wycombe. But I would rather that and talking about referees' decisions like this than VAR and having that moment of magic of celebrating a goal taken away because someone's watching it on a TV however many 100 miles away, telling you if someone's armpit hair was impacting the play.
Thank you very much indeed for bringing the word abreast to the show as well. That really has brought something, which hopefully we can use more often. It's really nice as well for fans, I think, to know that with the injury issues, that the likes of Ryan Tafsoli's got some minutes in that practice game this week as well. So he's working his way back.
Yeah, it's good to see that these practice games are a regular occurrence as well. 2 30-minute halves against the Slough Town team up at the training ground, and it just means that you've got that match sharpness. You're getting the minutes into the players who are injured, and it's a good way to have a look at people and see where the form is as well. Really, really positive on Monday to see the goal scorers and also the people getting their minutes in. And making sure that they're hopefully available when it comes down to Saturdays in the league. And we've got a week of Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, or 8 days, as I've been told. It's not a week, it's 8 days. But 3 games in 8 days is quite intense. And you're going to need your squad for those.
And those that have seen pre-match drills will know that your maths has been correctly identified, and it's a year in management for the manager.
Yes, big achievement. I think a big milestone for any manager in the game. We know what a brittle existence it is being a Football League manager or manager at any level, I guess. But a year, obviously not all at Wycombe. There was that spell at Colchester at the start of Matt's managerial reign. And I think, it's one to tick off. And it was really good to hear Matt talking on shouldn't really big up another podcast, but I will. It was the EFL podcast where I thought Matt Bloomfield spoke excellently on that, about his time as a manager. And it was just hearing him talk about that, about, this is an approaching milestone. And you can see how Matt was as a player. You tick these things off. You don't necessarily aim for them, but you acknowledge them when they come, and you move on to the next one. Really good that he's got there, and hopefully we continue to build and grow as a club under his stewardship. So,
what can we expect from Carlisle on Saturday? A team fresh from League Two.
Coming up from the playoff final, really interesting with Paul Simpson, a former player up there, and it seems to me to be a very happy club. The team obviously and the fans are delighted to be back in League One after a 9-year absence. I think they're delighted by the job as well that Paul Simpson is doing as manager. They come into the game with 7 points from the opening 9 games, so you could argue that's not the best start, but coming up after an impacted summer, because when you get to the playoff final, you have less time to rest, recuperate, and prepare. Wycombe Wanderers will know all about that. It's something that Carlisle fans seem to be understanding of, which, football fans and understanding, obviously words that we don't hear too often in the same sentence, but they appear to be pretty happy with where they're at. And the performances on the whole have probably warranted more points than they've got. And, a couple of decent points on the road of late. Lincoln away, a 1-1 draw, I think, was an excellent result. And a 2-2 draw against Stevenage, albeit a team that also came up last season, but a team team that have started incredibly well in League One this season, and you look at those two results and think, well, they look to be sort of finding their feet in this division. So this is going to be a very tricky game, and it's been 5 years, I think, since we played them. And we obviously spoke to Matt about the last time that they did come to Adams Park, a fairly uneventful game, if I remember correctly. just a 4-3 win and a 98th minute winner. But if we can have half as much fun as we did that day, then it should be all set to be a classic at Adams Park.
It should be a special atmosphere as well with the family day.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully young children come into their first or maybe their second game or getting their first taste of live football. We all know what that feels like. We've all had our first games and that first sight of the pitch and the magic and the atmosphere. So hopefully we can create some more Wycombe Wanderers fans for the future, because that's what it's all about. And hopefully it's a great day for everybody.
There are really special things that you take away, aren't there? Whether it's like something you hear on the PA system, or whether it's the smell of the burgers and the onions, or if you're lucky enough to meet a player in the car park and get your photo taken with them or something like that.
Exactly that, and that's why I think someone like Wycombe Wanderers is a great place to have your first game, because if you get there early enough, you can hang out by the railings, by the player entrance, and you can meet the players, have your photographs with them, have a chat, and you're not going to get that at Arsenal or Chelsea, So hopefully it's a great game as well. I think statistically down the years we've often struggled for results on days like this. So hopefully we can put that to bed on Saturday and entertain those there, not just with a decent performance, but hopefully some goals and a great result as well to cheer.
Well, it's been brilliant speech. Thank you very much, and enjoy the game.
I will do. Thank you very much, Colin.
Excellent chatting to you, Phil, as always, and we look forward to the word abreast being used in future editions of this show. Also, if you were listening to Ringing the Blues on Tuesday night, which there's an edited version of, I believe.
There will be tomorrow for free. It's improved Mac Drills this week, though.
Yes, I think I'm in that. Also, we can give you a bit of a burst now because Luke spoke to Phil. He was a studio guest, co-host, you might say, about some of those rule interpretations that we were talking about a short time ago.
Crystal Palace under-21s, the penalty. Before your penalty, the Crystal Palace goalkeeper got booked. What did he get booked for?
I think quite a few things. It was he knocking the bar. He was like pushing the bar above him and moving side to side. I think you're not allowed to do that, and I think he was pretending to drink his water at the side of the post, so I think he got booked for a few things. Yeah,
because I learned quite a bit there, because it says it. I looked it up on the FA website. The defending goalkeeper must remain on the goal line facing the kicker between the goalposts until the ball is kicked. The goalkeeper must not behave in a way that unfairly distracts the kicker, e.g. delay the taking of the kick, or touch the goalpost, crossbar or the goal net. That last bit surprised me, because I've always seen goalkeepers touch the crossbar. I found out afterwards is because it makes the dimensions
smaller
of the goal different.
Yeah, it makes it either bigger or smaller the way they're pushing it. So yeah, it worked the first time for him, didn't it? So thankfully it got retaken, and I put it away the second time. I was
hoping you got it wrong, and then we could have retaken the question, and then you could have got it right the next time.
Very good.
First goal for Wycombe, though, big milestone.
Yeah, get that first one out of the way. I've had a few chances, to be fair, in the league. One against Dorian that I should have done better with, but yeah, delighted to get it done. It doesn't matter sort of for me what game it was or what competition it was in. Just to get that first one over the line is nice, and hopefully I get playing more.
Now, the other law change that's been across all of the divisions, and lots of pundits and fans talking about it up and down the country, the added on time. Now, of course, at Wycombe, we're used to double digits here at Wycombe, 10 minutes at the end of the game, but it seems to be getting less and less every week. Is that because the players are changing their behaviour on the pitch?
Yeah, maybe. I think so. I think going back to like the first few games of the season, it was, I think, 12 and 10 minutes, and it was quite tough and quite hard to get used to. But yeah, I think we're understanding it more, like the time wasting. Chris got booked against Blackpool for time wasting at the throw-in, didn't he? So I think players are more aware of sort of the time wasting, and I don't think you can as much now as well because of the multi-ball around the pitch. So yeah, but I think in some cases it helps us because the boys that we bring on, they're fresh, and some of the quality that we bring on, more time the better sometimes, because if we're chasing a goal, then it's needed.
Now let's cast our minds back a couple of weeks at Sixfields. Wycombe are winning that 1-0. I think there was 10 minutes added on at the end of that game. As a fan, I know what it feels like when you see the board up when you're winning by 1 goal. As a player, when you see that, when you look across, what does that feel like?
Yeah, I won't repeat what I thought when I seen it, but yeah, I think you look over it, see if it's 10 minutes, it's 10 minutes, take it in, and then just deal with what's coming, sort of thing. I think in that game we dealt with everything they threw at us, and we deserved that clean sheet. But no, I think once you see 10 minutes when you're holding on to a lead, it is, you have to be strong mentally to get through it. Whereas on the other hand, if you're chasing a goal, then it helps you out.
Is it something you all practice in training? Because you see it teams when they have a narrow lead and you see them knock the ball about, keep ball, take it to other areas of the pitch. Is that something that you guys just intrinsically know as players to do that?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think, you don't practice it much, but it's just like keeping the ball, I suppose, in a possession or anything like that. Some cases it's just better kicking the ball away. I remember Bristol Rovers a few weeks ago when I think there was still 3-4 minutes added on, and I got the ball on the halfway line and just booted it out for a throw in, sort of like a rugby kick. And
definitely wasn't a shot, no.
Yeah, a few people come up to me and was like, was that a shot? I was like, no. But yeah, I think some cases in that instance it helps that way as well. I
thought you were trying to help the Green Council by knocking down the start of their new stand.
I'm not going to comment on Bristol Rovers.
Fair enough. You mentioned the multi-ball system. Now, when you're losing, I guess that's quite handy to see them dotted around the pitch. I've seen Wycombe take some quick throws. I think David Wheeler took one against Blackpool from about 4 yards off the pitch and nearly caught the team out. And that's going to be something that adds into the game, and more teams will get used to that as well, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I think if someone's got a long throw that's sort of playing as a wing-back or a left or right centre-half, it could be a really good tactic, just picking the ball up and throwing it in. If the strikers are ready and aware and get behind their back line, then really you're in on a one-on-one. So yeah, Dave's quite clever in that sense, picking up on those little things. And I think another thing as well is like Blackpool, the home game, just telling the ball boys to calm down when they're thrown onto the pitch. I think their boys run for the ball, and I was shouting to our ball boys, like, throw it away. So the dark arts of that sort of thing as well can help you out.
You seem to have fitted into that at Wycombe incredibly well.
I've done it for a while, to be fair. You just trying to gain an edge on your opponent or trying to stop an attacking period for the opposition. So yeah, I've sort of done it sort of the last few years. So it's perfect for this football club, I suppose.
You can hear more from Luke.
Sorry.
There won't be that gap in the podcast version. On Ringing the Blues, which you can catch up in full, and there's edited version?
There's an edited version that's going to be up tomorrow for free. It's in pre-match deals this week, which is really good.
Part 2 of the Wycombe Wanderers Show on the way.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Bill Turnbull, a broadcasting legend whose tireless campaigning for prostate cancer awareness left a lasting legacy for men's health in the UK. Bill's message was clear.
I really want you and your loved ones to take this simple online risk check now.
Let's honour Bill's legacy together. Let's get men across the UK to check their risk. Let's broadcast it like Bill. Check your risk. Share the risk checker. Save lives.
Tuesday evenings from 7.
Hello, Phil here from Wycombe Wanderers, host of the award-nominated podcast Ringing the Blues, which is becoming a live radio show right here on Wycombe Sound. Tuesdays 7 till 8 p.m, you'll hear all the latest from Adams Park. We'll recap the game from the weekend, plus we'll talk to a whole host of people associated with the club, fans from around the world, and all the news from Wycombe Wanderers. Tune in every Tuesday 7 till 8.
The Wycombe Wanderers Show, Thursdays from 7.
106.6 FM, Wycombe Sound.
Still to come on this week's edition of the Wycombe Wanderers Show, we say happy birthday to a member of the first team. We hear from Charlotte Hill from Wycombe Wanderers Women on scoring from corners and the Women's FA Cup. We'll catch up with Max Stryjek, who'll be talking pink goalkeeper shirts and other things, and we'll hear from the manager as well. But first, with thanks as always to the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association, we take you back to 1959 through to 1963, and someone who played 53 times for the club, scored 39 goals, currently now resides in Witney, where we caught up with him earlier on today. The day after, he was at a gathering in Bisham with a number of other ex-teammates and other former players as well. Peter James has been reliving his earliest memories and what he's taken from his time at the club.
I think overall it was the friendship and teamwork amongst the players. As soon as I arrived there, I think it was Jackie Tomlin and Barry Darville come straight up, shook hands and said, "Welcome to the club, you know, we'll get you integrated as quickly as we can." And that was absolutely wonderful. I've never experienced anything like that before. And, it turned out that the way everybody behaved themselves, even when we lost a game, there was none of this shouting and swearing around in the changing room. Everyone just tried to analyse it and take it and say, right, we'll put it right next week, this sort of thing. But it was just the whole aura of the club, and the atmosphere was terrific. And the only place I'm a fairly keen rugby fan now, and but I do see that rugby clubs have got a terrific tradition of the way they behave, both to the referee and to each other after the game and things like that, you know. And Wycombe reminded me very much of that.
And obviously you were brought in by Sid Can, which is obviously a very special, period in the club's history as well, to be managed by him.
It was, indeed. Sid and Harry Bates came across to talk to me before I went there. And at the time I was trying to think now, I was around about the age of 20, I suppose. I remember Sid outlining to me, he said, right, now if you want to come, we'd like you to come, but we always have training on 4 nights a week before pre-season, and we play a match of 1 hour each way on a Saturday, and we do that for 4 weeks before the start of the season. I thought, blimey. And at the time, I was living in Oxford, and I didn't have any mode of transport at all. So I had to get over there 4 evenings a week for training, and over there on a Saturday to play this practice matches. That was quite difficult because without transport I used to rely on some work friends who worked in places like Marlow and lived in places like Marlow and around the Wycombe area, and so I used to get lifts over in all sorts of transport on the back of motorbikes and everything just for training, but it was well worth it.
I'm sure it's very similar to some of the players today.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, they get cars bought at a very early age, I understand, when they're pro, or even before they're pro. But it was, and that was the atmosphere. Everyone did the same, and it was just a terrific club to belong to. Sadly, Sid left after the first season I was there, and Graham Adams took over, and the atmosphere of everything all seemed to change. And, and what with having to move house as well, I didn't stay that long. But it was the time I was there was some of the best periods of my sporting life. And, I'm glad that we could still keep together as players and meet up occasionally.
Because you made over 50 appearances and scored nearly 40 goals. Are there any particular games which really stand out?
I think we played Walthamstow Avenue when Jim Lewis was playing, the old Jim Lewis was playing centre forward for them. And the one thing I do remember is that Walthamstow went down the field, Jim Lewis got the ball, whacked it past, I think Ken Brown was in goal at the time, past the goalie, hit the metal stanchion at the back of the net, and Ken caught it. He thought it had hit the bar, he threw it out, and play continued, and the ref didn't realise it had gone in the net. And all of Walthamstow players were going mad. We went down the other end of the field, and I believe it was Len Worley scored a goal. And that sticks in my mind like anything. But I must say, apart from the slope of the ground, Lokes Park was always a good ground to play on. It was very well looked after, and it was one of the better grounds of the league for a surface point of view, albeit it took a while to get used to the angle of the pitch.
I was going to say, how did you find the slope?
Oh, I wrote a little ditty, actually. We had a concert for the club, and in this ditty, I said you have to have one leg shorter than the other to play on the slope. But yes, it's just a great club to belong to.
And as you touched on, there are players from that time there that you're still in touch with today.
Yes, mainly I was very friendly with David Worley, who sadly died. Him plus his cousin Len Worley. I remained very close with those when I left the club. In fact, went on holiday with Dave Worley a couple of times and still keep in touch with his wife and Len Worley. We meet up from time to time, which is good. Sadly, my own wife has had to go into care, and so my life has been very restricted now, mainly to concern with her.
Yeah, of course. Oh, sorry to hear that. Do you still travel about on the back of a motorbike today?
No. I wouldn't dare go on a motorbike today. I used to get on the back of this motorbike from a chap who lived near Wycombe, and that was in the days before the motorway, and we used to roar up Aston Rowan Hill, and I used to cling on the back of the bike with my kit held out behind me, no crash helmet, and really it was very, very insecure when I look back. But that was all part of life, It was good fun.
No, absolutely. And I guess as well it was the travel that really led to your sort of departure from the club as well, really.
Yes, it was. Because I moved to the west side of Oxford, it became very difficult, and we decided to start a family, and it just became too much. And also, as I say, the atmosphere in the club wasn't quite the same as it was when Sid Camp was there. I decided to pack it in again, and I went back to Abingdon Sound. I must say that my times at Wycombe are never to be forgotten. It's a lovely group of lads who, everyone got on well with one another. There's very few clubs, I would imagine, have got contact with players going back to the sort of 50s and 60s, who genuinely still feel for the club.
And you had a nice get-together yesterday as well. How was that?
That was very nice. Sadly, I went to a previous one last year, and there was about 3 or 4 couldn't turn up yesterday, like Dennis Syret and Dennis Atkins. They couldn't make it. They were, of course, over at the club when I first joined, and again, very, very nice blokes. And of course, they're in their 90s now, I believe, and still going strong, I hope. But they were terrific personalities. Steve Hyde was there, and I can remember Steve Hyde coming into the team when I was over there. And he's a nice lad, and very modest, but very good clubman. And again, when we meet up, it's as though we haven't been away from each other for a long time. It's great to meet up.
That's what's really nice about the Ex-Players Association, isn't it?
Oh, indeed, yes. It really is. I shouldn't think there's many of the old clubs who've got this association that has come right through. I believe there's a very good relationship with the professional club as it is now with the older club. I don't go over to many functions, but everyone tells me the pros, respect the way the amateurs have stuck together and run the club, which is brilliant, really.
No, absolutely. I'm sure you still keep an eye out for their scores as well.
Of course, yes. I must say, lately, or the last few years, I've become a bigger fan almost of rugby now, because I like the attitudes in rugby, the sportsmanship before the game and after the game. And, they take the hard knocks, they respect the referees, and my big dread in soccer is the way all the players are beginning to lie down pretend they're injured, argue with the referee all the time. But in rugby, that doesn't happen, and it's a shame, really. I watch it now, and it's a different game. When we played, if we got kicked, we didn't like to show we were hurt, and we thought, well, I'll get him back if I can, you know. And but today, the slightest touch, and they're down, they're writhing, and just to get the referee's attention, or hopefully get somebody booked, which I think is terrible.
No, absolutely. It certainly seems like rugby's, like you say, that the sort of approach is much better.
Oh, yeah. They call the referees, sir, and, it's incredible, really. And it is nice to see the attitudes that exist.
Great chatting to Peter James, who I spoke to earlier on this morning. He's just had a late breakfast after going swimming, which apparently does every morning. With thanks, of course, to the Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Players Association. Speaking of which, we have some breaking ex-player news. As Black Beauty started.
Too much. Too much or not enough?
Tell the orchestra they can go now.
Okay, they've got one more job. The breaking news this evening is that Holmer Green Football Club have announced the appointment of Keith Scott as manager of the first team. Keith has been closely involved with the team recently. He will continue to work with the existing coaching team. Keith replaces Tranel Richardson, who they thank for his work this season. That's the breaking news. More on that story later, or maybe not, perhaps next week. Just to let you know as well, we're switching our attention now to Wycombe Wanderers women, who have a big Women's FA Cup game on Sunday against Ascot Town. Been speaking to Charlotte Hill, who you might recall a couple of weeks back scored from a corner.
It's not the first time I've done it. I mean, ever since I've grown up, I've tried to do it just from the corner because I've got an in-swinger. So, yeah, it's been something that my dad's always told me, try and score from a corner because goalkeepers don't expect it. So, yeah, I thought I'd give it a try, and it obviously paid off.
Fantastic when it does come off as well, especially in a game situation too.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously not many people have done it, following on from like Joe Jacobson, Kate McCabe. So, yeah, I'm in the books now.
You're part of an elite group. And really nice as well on social media. Joe Jacobson was very appreciative as well. So it's great to have that kind of recognition, I guess.
Yeah, it is. And obviously he's done it before, so he knows the feeling of what it's like to score from like a corner because, as I've said, like not everyone does it. So you feel a bit special when you do it.
Absolutely, and I'm sure like mere mortals like ourselves, if someone like myself had tried it, then it probably wouldn't work many times. But it's no fluke, is it? Because you've done it before, and as you say, and done it in training as well since.
Yeah, exactly. And I know some of the girls are probably lining up to try it to see if they can copy me.
No, definitely, because I'm sure many others could, but would need sort of assistance from wind, for example, or perhaps someone to move the goalpost while they're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. But no, not me. It just came off my foot and, went in the goal. So, I was happy with it.
It's a great skill to have, and obviously a fantastic attribute to be able to bring to any game, but especially, an important one, I imagine, too.
Yeah, exactly. And goalkeepers don't expect it. So, like, when you do something like that, even if, like, the goalkeeper got a hand to it, I know that I'd always have my teammates there to either, like, try and head it in or, get a rebound in.
And fantastic as well to sort of have that for opposition, because they'll know, if Charlotte's playing, there's a danger, especially, we want to give away a corner because there's a danger that she might score from that.
Yeah, exactly. And with being the set piece person, like, I know that in a few of my other games, people have gone, we don't want her taking the corner because, they can be dangerous. So, it's quite good, especially for our team as well. It's a good way to score goals from.
No, absolutely. Been speaking to a couple of other players as well in the early part of the season, but does it feel really good, for yourself that and the rest of the team that things are sort of starting to click now as well with the new arrivals that you've had sort of during the close season as well?
Yeah, definitely. We've all like suddenly clicked, and it's been amazing. Obviously, the win on Sunday was good to get 3 points on the board. We've had a couple of draws, and it's just good to get points on the board, really. And to have new players come in and contribute to that, it's been really good.
And has it felt like you can really build on what was achieved last season? Because I guess last season must have felt like a real sort of season of transition as well.
Obviously, we've had players leave and it's been like difficult, but with the new players that have come in, they fitted in perfectly. And yeah, I feel like Carl has done a really good job with recruitment. And yeah, we just can't wait for the rest of the season and see what it brings.
And have you been pleased with your own start to the season personally as well?
With my performance last week, scoring from the corner, then I think that's been the best game I've played so far. But yeah, I always look back on my performances and I know what I can improve on. It's my first season being in the first team like properly. So yeah, I'm just head down, trying to work hard and trying to keep my position in the starting 11.
And what's that progression been like? I guess it's been really nice just to sort of step up and, as you say, feel part of the first team.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I've come from the under-18s like straight to the first team, so it's been a proper big step. I've had experience in the under-23s, but I mean, I felt welcomed by all the girls. We've got some true leaders in the group that make the new players and the younger players feel welcome. So yeah, it's really good.
Really nice to chat to you as someone who is obviously playing women's football currently, and especially after the summer and the World Cup and England doing so well. Have you really been influenced by that as well?
Yeah, the Lionesses, they've done amazing. I mean, not winning the final, it was hard to take, but they've really done something for women's football, and yeah, it's really good, and it's good for us as well because we've got like people like the Brownies coming to our football, wanting to watch us train. And yeah, it's just bringing us girls closer, really, and bringing more supporters down to our games.
I was going to say that's one thing that's really, I guess people have been watching women's football, at international level or at WSL level and think, oh, there must be a team that I can follow, locally as well, and that brings more interest to you.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, we've had loads of supporters come down, and it's been amazing. It helps us as well when we're playing because we can hear them like obviously singing and cheering for us. So it's a good little push, even, if we're losing, like we're 1-0 down, just a good little push to like help us try and score a goal and, yeah, make it a good game for them to come and watch.
And something a bit special this weekend as well with the Women's FA Cup as well.
Yeah, that's special. I mean, it's the first time for me playing in the FA Cup. So, yeah, it is special. And, you follow teams like Arsenal and Chelsea and you hope to get to the next round. It's going to be a tough game against Ascot, obviously. First game, we lost to them, but I feel like we'll work hard in training this week, and yeah, we'll give it a good shot after a good win this weekend.
Has that helped in a way that you kind of face them, especially early in the season as well, and you've got particular things that you can work on to kind of do better against them?
Yeah, like Carl knows what to do. He's got stuff for us to work on, obviously this week in training, and it just helps us as players as well, like know how we can improve from that performance, and as a team together we can be positive and go forward and know that we can give it our all and try to get to the next round.
And is it extra motivation as well, because for this current team you'll want to get further than the teams got in previous years of the competition?
Yeah, definitely, and that's always a push to do better than we done last season, and I feel like we are already doing that with how many points we have on the board already. So yeah, we're just going to keep pushing, keep working hard, and yeah, hopefully we can get something back this season.
And what would you say will be a successful season for both yourself and the team this year?
For me personally, I just want to keep working hard in the first team, keep my position, try and score a couple more corners to help the team. And as a team collective, I feel just try and win as many games as possible and fight for that promotion, because that's what we want really as a team.
And really nice for yourself and the rest of the players to know that you can be an inspiration to other young girls coming up, and especially yourself being a great advert for progression in the, as you say, you came from the under-18s and are now in the first team.
Yeah, exactly. And when I was in the under-18s and watching the first team, like it does make you feel like, oh yeah, if I work hard enough, then I can get there. And obviously I have. So for the girls that are in the under-23s and under-18s that want to push, it is possible, but you've just got to put your head down and work hard, because I've been there and I've done it, so I know what it takes, and yeah, everyone's capable of doing it.
Great chatting to Charlotte Hill, and obviously we wish the Chairgirls all the best for the Women's FA Cup. We'll be reflecting on how they get on Sunday on next week's show. We'll be chatting to Amy Leach.
Online, on Radio Player, and on 106.6 FM. This is Wycombe Sound.
Hi, it's Max Stryjek. You're listening to Wycombe Sound.
Still to come, we'll be hearing from Max in full in a few moments' time. More from the manager as well, Matt Bloomfield, looking ahead to the family day of the visit of Carlisle United to Adams Park on Saturday, and lots more as well, including his thoughts on how the season's going so far. And we've got a notice board section which we're saving till the end.
With sound effect.
Oh, it's not Black Beauty again.
It's not Black Beauty.
Looking forward to that as we give you some news from around the club with Lucas's inside role.
Yeah, why not?
Made you sound like a spy or something.
Dun-dun.
But first, as mentioned, as part of the press session yesterday, we caught up with goalkeeper Max Stryjek to find out, among other things, how he feels the season's going so far.
So far, I think we are in a good place. Obviously, the result on Saturday wasn't there. Unfortunately, we lost the game, but I think there's lots of positives to take from the game. Second half, we were really good. Before, we played Blackpool, which was another amazing performance by the team, and I believe if we keep going and keep playing the same way, I think we will be in a good spot. Obviously, not the start we wanted, but in general, we are happy with our performances and how everything is going.
It must be so pleasing to be on that unbeaten run, and as you say, the performance on Saturday was very positive as well.
Yeah, obviously, we lost the game 3-1, but we created so many chances. I think I don't want to say anything about the referee's decisions, but obviously I think we all know that we could get something out of the game. So it's never going to, it's so harsh to lose the game 3-1, especially when you think we could have won it as well. We've done enough to probably win it or get a point.
And defensively, very pleasing as well.
Yeah, obviously we're considering goals, but we analyse it, we keep moving forward, and obviously we are still in a position where we played, how many games we played this season? 10 games, 11 games this season. So it's obviously so many new faces in the building, and we're still getting to know each other, and it will take time, obviously, to understand the habits of so many different players, but we are in a good spot.
Does it feel like things are starting to really kind of settle and click already, or would you say it's still a little early?
I think we all know what to expect from each other. We kind of glued in as a group. We are really, obviously, everyone respect each other. We are getting more connected as a team, and I think it's going to take a little while, but we are really progressing as a team, so that's the main thing.
And are you pleased with your own start to the season personally?
Personally, yes, but on the other side, I'm not happy with the amount of goals we conceded, but obviously, as I said, it's still early in the season. Made a few good saves as well, so yeah, I'm happy, but I'm hoping to be more consistent with my performances, and then obviously if I can help the team to win the games, that's a bonus, and that's the main thing. To be fair, it's not a bonus; it's the main thing to keep winning games, and then that's it, really. Yeah.
And nice that you've got almost a sort of mini club, if you like, of goalkeepers now as well.
Yeah, it's obviously Franco joining later in the season. He's a great guy, great goalkeeper as well. Bringing, competition to the table. Obviously, Laurie is a young goalkeeper who is he's talented. Obviously, he needs some game time, and I think he's good prospects in terms of his personality, whatever he offers as a person and as a goalkeeper. He's got every ability to go and perform. I think he just needs some game time. Obviously, Franco made his debut the other day, played really good, kept clean sheet, and obviously it's good to have a competition in the team, and obviously it's a good environment to work out as well, so I'm pleased with that.
And are you settling into your goalkeeping shirts this season?
Yeah, I think I have to play more in the pink, because I'm playing unbelievable in the pink. Yeah, but I think my favourite colour is actually, I would say pink one. I don't know why, I just feel
comfortable.
Good. Yeah, comfortable wearing it, and I just don't know. Apparently it's matching my tan as well, so it's good.
And you've got obviously Carlisle coming up this weekend, and a great opportunity for fans to get behind the team with the family day as well. Yeah,
I think obviously we have to focus on ourselves. I think we have to win the game. I think obviously Carlisle just got promoted last season. We're expecting a tough game, but I think in this league every game is tough. So we give the respect to the Carlisle, but I hope we don't give them enough respect to match us in terms of performance, and I hope we win the game.
And hopefully a clean sheet for yourself as well.
That would be bonus, obviously, but as I said, the main thing for the team is to win games. So even if we win 2-1 or 3-2, whatever that takes, it's better to win the game than drew the game 0-0. So take that.
Great to chat to Max, of course, and to find out his thoughts on the various goalkeeping shirts. What do you call the other one? The multicolour one? That's called. Is it called something? That's like a kaleidoscope. Or
It's Curry House.
Curry
it's the
House.
unofficial name. I like the pink one as well. It's my favourite.
The pink is very nice, isn't it?
It's very nice.
It works on so many levels.
It does.
Great to chat to Max. As I say, also had the opportunity to speak to manager Matt Bloomfield. First of all, you might have heard his post-match comments speaking after the Charlton defeat. And apart from the result, very happy with the performance.
Overall, in the performance, we were pleased. I'm a big believer in football that you count your chickens too early, and this game comes back and bites you on the backside. So we can't get too carried away in our performances. Of course, we've been really pleased to put some points on the board, and we were pleased with a lot of the parts of the performance at Charlton, but it's an ongoing process and it's a continuing improvement for us. We want to get better. There's lots of bits that we have been pleased about. There feels like there's some shoots of positivity around the performances and the way the team's coming together. I feel like there's a good feeling around the place, the training ground and the supporters at the moment, and we want to keep that continuing, but the only way to do that is by working as hard as we possibly can every single day on the training ground and making sure that we're being the best we can be.
Does it feel like it's still too early in the season to sort of judge or assess, kind of where you're at? I think it was Phil that said rather than yourself, but after about 10 games, it'd be a good sort of gauge to kind of see where you're at.
Yeah, I think that, if you look up and down the Football League, there's some clubs that have been able to keep some continuity over the summer. There's a lot of clubs that the manager's changed or a big proportion of their playing staff has changed. And I'm lucky enough to be friendly with some managers who are going through that process also. So you're able to discuss what's going well, what's not going well, and bounce some ideas around. And I think that for us, it's about trying to be better in every occasion that we possibly can. Obviously, we are pleased with the points we put on the board after the games that we've had, but I think that there's a deep desire here to continually get better. I'm certainly not content or satisfied with what we've done so far. It's about about being better at all occasions, and we've certainly tried to put that in place at the training ground this week.
And do you notice sort of settling in there, if that's the right expression of players?
Yeah, quite possibly. I think that's probably a nice way to put it. I think that over the last few weeks there has been maybe a slightly more settled feel about the playing staff and the coaching staff in terms of that cohesion as a group, because these things can never be done overnight. It takes time to really build strong relationships, and that's what we're about. And we've spoken about it a lot again this week in terms of the togetherness of the group is really pleasing, considering they've been together for such a short period of time. But maybe there's been a slight feeling more of settled in from everybody, and which is nice, because you win nothing with individuals, you achieve nothing with individuals. With a really strong group, coaching staff, playing staff, supporters, staff at the training ground and at the ground. It has to be one group moving forward together, and it feels like we've had that a little bit more over the previous weeks. But I'll probably come back to my first point. There's absolutely no counting of our chickens around here in terms of we've cracked it. Absolutely not. We have a real big desire to try and get better, and myself and Tomo and the rest of the coaching staff, we've worked harder, if not harder if that's possible this week, to go into all aspects of our performance last week and really drag out the good bits and present that to the boys, but also show the bits where we need to be cleaner in possession and stronger and sturdier out of possession, and we have to make sure we can keep looking at that.
You had a behind closed doors game on Monday. Great to see TJ and Dale scoring. What did you take from that?
Yeah, exactly that. It was great to see those boys hit the back of the net. It was great for Taff to get some minutes. We've been really pleased with Jasper and Declan, Taylor Clark, in terms of their exposure to first team in the EFL Trophy last week. We've got another game coming up in a couple of weeks, so we were really keen to give these boys the opportunity to be as match sharp and match fit as we possibly can, so when we judge them in those first team outings that they're up to speed, so to speak. It's not fair to expose them to a first team game and them not be ready. So we've been really pleased with what they've done. Obviously looking at Brex and Killian, boys who maybe missed a bit of pre-season who are getting up to speed as well, and we're really pleased to have them here on loan and getting them into what we're doing. So there's loads of positive bits to come out of it, loads of bits that, again, like a first team game, loads we want to improve on, loads we want to get cleaner in possession, and those passing triggers and the passing patterns that we do in possession, but out of possession, how we press, where we press, and making sure that we make the development games as close to a first team affair as we possibly can, so then it's hopefully a seamless transition.
And coming up on Saturday, you come up against a team who are newly promoted. I know we spoke to you before about whether you're facing an established League One side or someone who's perhaps come down from the Championship. Does that really make a difference as to what sort of threats they can bring as well?
Yeah, because they've got that cohesive unit that we've spoken about. They've got a well-oiled, well-drilled team and a manager who knows the level and has achieved great success at the level in the past. Got our last game as a management staff was for Colchester was at Carlisle, so we've played them in the not too recent past, and we've watched them again this week. We know how well organised and what a good team they are, so we need to make sure we're ready for that. We have to be better out of possession than what we were last week at Charlton. We have to make sure we're stronger, and then in possession we have to try and bring the positives from last week and add some bits on from Blackpool and some bits from the other games, and just be as complete as we possibly can. We're determined and we have an endless drive for as complete a performance as we possibly can, both in possession and out of possession. That's what drives us on, and if we keep doing that, then hopefully we can keep picking up some points.
And fans will have good memories of Carlisle visiting, and yourself as well.
Yeah, definitely. Beanie's goal in injury time with 10 men, that was the promotion season. I said it earlier on, I'll say it again. It's the difference between good seasons and great seasons is when those moments go in your favour, and that was certainly one of those. We were 2-0 up, I believe, and cruising, found ourselves 3-2 down with 10 men, and seemingly losing the game. Before you know it, I remember Paris equalised, and then thinking, thank God for that, we've got a point. And before you know it, I think I took the free kick, Wycombe style, put it in their penalty area. It comes out to Beanie, he volleys it in, he goes running off for his parents who unfortunately already left the game. I go running off. It was one of those moments where you lose all control of your body, and everyone's just running in opposite directions, just going mental. It was an amazing feeling. It was something that I'll never forget.
And great to have Family Day this weekend as well. And obviously, I'm sure families who perhaps bring children for the first time for their first game is really special. Yeah, we're big advocates of family. It's my biggest value in my biggest value in my life is my family, my wife and my 2 girls, and trying to give them the best life. And we conduct that around the training ground. We've had a family day here in the last few weeks in terms of the lads bringing their kids and their wives and girlfriends and come and spending some time together. And down at the ground, we want our supporters to enjoy the family day as a group. That family feel, and being as a football club, one of the first things that new signings say is what family feel that the football club has. We look after wives, girlfriends, children at match days for the players, and so in the stands we want that those guys to feel at home. So I really hope we're able to give them a good day out on Saturday. And hopefully the start of another unbeaten run as well. Yeah, we spoke about that again after Charlton. Football season. The football season is all about runs. Trying to put a run back to back, trying to be unbeaten, trying to put winning spells together. One's broken and you have to try and start another one as quickly as possible. We want to bounce back. We want to come up the traps and show that hunger and desire on Saturday, and it's important that we do that. So let's hope that we can marry up that hunger and desire with a performance, and hopefully that's a good performance. Pleasure to speak to the manager, of course. Just got time for the very underrated notice board section of the show.
Thank you.
Very low tech.
Not the only one with sound effects, Mr. Catchpole. Should we start with a birthday?
Let's.
It is Ryan Taffazoli's birthday today.
Happy birthday, Ryan.
Happy birthday. 4 appearances, 28 duels won, passing accuracy of 71%, 49 touches per game, and 18 recoveries.
Very interesting.
Fact.
Stats there.
Stat. In exciting news for Wycombe Wanderers Foundation and Jason McCarthy, he has joined their Elite Development Academy as he moulds and shapes the future stars of Wycombe
astrology,
and the surrounding areas. If Johnny King is listening, hopefully he won't be doing his music taste either, because we know Johnny wasn't a fan of that.
No.
Some possible sad news. Possibly. Wycombe Wanderers League One fixture against Cheltenham Town at Adams Park, scheduled for Saturday the 14th of October, has been postponed due to international call-ups. The Chairboys have received call-ups for 3+ players who will be announced when their nation's squads are made. A new date for the Cheltenham game will be announced in due course. Tickets purchased for the match will remain valid for the new date.
Excellent.
Congratulations.
It's good news for David Wheeler as well.
Oh, it's like you knew what the next tab was open. Yes, David Wheeler has been...
Got a tab open?
I've got a tab open. David Wheeler has been shortlisted for the Athlete of the Year prize at the Green Sports Award. He is up against such people like Pat Cummings and Sebastian Vettel.
Ooh.
Exciting, I know. The winner for that is announced on Monday the 2nd of October. Thank you. Family Fun Day on Saturday. We've mentioned it, but lots going on.
What's going on?
Wycombe Leisure Centre is going to be doing some football activities. Petting pigs with cute little pigs. That's right, pigs. Teacups and Lord's Surf Simulator and large deck chairs.
Did you say pigs and teacups, or are they separate?
They were separate, but maybe you could put... No, don't. All the details can be found on the Wycombe Wanderers website, where you can also find out where you can get some autographs from players. And, if that wasn't exciting enough... There is some new autograph books and pens in the Wycombe Wanderers shop as well, if you haven't got one.
You've been doing some filming at the training ground of such
things, yeah. Keep an eye... Spoilers. Keep an eye on the Wycombe Wanderers website for that. And I think there's other stuff happening, so just keep an eye on social media all day. So just keep an eye on it. It's not going on. And, of course, we'll be there as well.
Yes.
And a task for the listeners of the Wycombe Wanderers Show between now and this week.
Take this down.
You know about this. This question was making the rounds at the training ground on Thursday. Name the 7 Davids who have won a Premier League medal stat.
Ooh.
Answers next week. Don't Google. That would be cheating.
It's a good question, actually.
If you're listening on Spotify, I'll make it so you can leave a little question. You can send us your answers.
Nice.
If you're not... email us twws@wycombesound.org.uk. 7 Davids who've won a Premier League medal stats. Thank you. Notice board section end.
Thank you very much. More from the notice board next week if we've got time. And also next week, as I say, Amy Leach from Wycombe Wanderers Women. We're due to be chatting to Gary Thompson, thanks to Wycombe Wanderers Ex-Player Association. And there's talk, TBC, that we're sort of being inspired by Ringing the Blues.
Just nicking something from them as well.
Possibly having a first team player live on the show. That could be quite exciting as well. Very much looking forward to that. Is it Halloween next week? I was just wondering why you keep doing that.
No, it's exciting, not... That's spooky.
That was creepy, that one. Thank you very much indeed for listening. Don't forget there'll be a podcast version available very soon. And enjoy the family day against Carlisle on Saturday. Or tomorrow if you're listening to this on Friday.
Or yesterday if it's Sunday.
You get the idea.